Hello, my dear friends. I welcome you all to my daily dose. So, I am myself Dr. Rajesh Guba. I am a cardiologist and I am also the mentor for teaching general medicine for exams like NEET PG, AIMS, PGI, and as well as JIPMA. So, as the part of today's daily dose, I have a 45-year-old woman complaining of increased shortness of breath on exertion, as well as orthopnea for the previous 3 to 4 months. She had apparently recovered from pericarditis about a year earlier, and on ECG there is low voltage, especially in the limb leads, and the chest X-ray shows pericardial calcification. The presumptive diagnosis is constrictive pericarditis. Which of the following physical signs would be consistent with this? The options are increased jugular distension on inspiration, third heart sound, fourth heart sound, rales at both lung bases, loud first and second heart sounds. Now, so this particular question is on the topic of constrictive pericarditis. So first of all, you should know what is constrictive pericarditis. Constrictive pericarditis is the clinical scenario which is characterized by inflammation or thickening of the pericardium. So that is what is the definition of your constrictive pericarditis, right? And on the other side, if you see, this is your normal heart. And this is the heart with a constrictive pericarditis. Now, what exactly will happen in patients with a constrictive pericarditis? Now, once there is thickening of your pericardium, there will be diastolic dysfunction, right? So there will be impairment of your relaxation of the heart. So there is diastolic dysfunction. So now, because of this particular diastolic dysfunction, what will happen is left ventricular end diastolic pressure increases because the heart is not relaxing completely. So the left ventricular end diastolic pressure increases. So when the left ventricular end diastolic pressure increases, subsequently that pressure will be transmitted to the atria. So your atrial pressure also increases. But remember, as the atrial pressure increases, like for example, if the right atrial pressure is increased, that increased right atrial pressure will be reflected into the jugular vein. So you will have increase in the jugular venous pressure. But peculiarity in patients with the constrictive pericarditis is, first I will tell you normal. What will happen in constrictive pericarditis, I'll tell you later. You take normally, what will happen is the JVP, it decreases on inspiration. Right, JVP, it decreases on inspiration, alright. But what will happen in patients with the constrictive pericarditis? In patients with the constrictive pericarditis, the JVP, it increases on inspiration. Right, JVP increases on inspiration. And this is what is called as the Kussmaul sign. Right, this is what is called as Kussmaul sign. So what is your Kussmaul sign now? Kussmaul sign is nothing but increase on JVP on inspiration is called as Kussmaul sign. Kussmaul sign is characteristically seen in patients with a constrictive pericarditis. So if you see this question, increased jugular distension on inspiration, this is the correct option related to your constrictive pericarditis. Then what about the other options? You take third heart sound as well as fourth heart sound. These are present in patients with your congestive heart failure. They are not present in patients with the constrictive pericarditis, right? And even the presence of your crepitations over the lung bases, they are also seen in patients with the constrictive pericarditis. What will be the ideal manifestations in patients with the constrictive pericarditis is that mainly they will have the features of right heart failure. So what are the features of your right heart failure is, they will have the ascites more compared to that of your pedal edema. Usually in patients with the congestive heart failure or right heart failure, what do we have? Initially they'll have pedal edema followed by that ascites. But in patients with the constrictive pericarditis, you will have what is called ascites precox. Now what is this particular ascites precox? That is nothing but the development of ascites prior to that of your pedal edema in patients with the constrictive pericarditis is nothing but your ascites precox. Now another important point what you should remember in the constrictive pericarditis is on auscultation. So there is an important additional sound in patients with the constrictive pericarditis. And what is that additional sound? That is nothing but your pericardial knock. So pericardial knock, it occurs during diastole of heart in patients with a constrictive pericarditis. So that is why remember this pericardial knock, it is a diastolic sound. So this is a very, very important point, that it is a diastolic sound. Now, you take the ECG in patients with a constrictive pericarditis, they will have low voltages, right? They will have low voltage in the ECG. That is what is being mentioned in your question also. Now, the point is, like, why do they have this particular low voltage? And let me explain you that. In patients with a constrictive pericarditis, the pericardium is inflamed and as well as thickened. So when pericardium is inflamed and as well as thickened, the electrical impulses which are being generated within the myocardium, they are not being appropriately transmitted to the surface of the chest. So when the electrical impulses are not being appropriately transmitted to the surface of the chest, the size of your QRS complexes will be low, and that is why it is called low voltage complexes. Now the point is, what is the criteria for your low voltage complex in the ECG? The criteria for low voltage complex in the ECG is that there should be less than 5 mm amplitude of your QRS complex in limb leads, and less than 10 mm should be the size of the QRS complex in the chest leads. Okay, so this is the criteria of your low voltage complexes. That is the ideal characteristic ECG finding in patients with a constrictive pericarditis. And what is that you will see in 2D echo of a patient with a constrictive pericarditis? You will see that the pericardium is being thick and inflamed, and there will be increase in the atrial pressures. Right, there will be increase in the atrial pressures. So that is what you will see in the ECG of, 2D echo of a patient with a constrictive pericarditis. Then what will be the treatment? The treatment in this particular patient is symptomatic management, like you need to give diuretics and all, symptomatic management. But the treatment of choice, the ideal management is pericardiectomy has to be done in these individuals. So you need to strip the pericardium which is being thick and has been inflamed. So this particular question is on the topic of constrictive pericarditis. So I hope you might have liked this particular short video on constrictive pericarditis. So please follow us on the Daily Dose for the daily updates. Thank you very much.